Be'ezras Hashem Pashas Vayechi Tovshin Pevov. When learning the topic of Bitachon, the Chovis Alvovus teaches us that a person has to look into every area of life and practice Bitachon in that area separately, because the nuances, the details that a person reaches when a person is in a certain topic is usually different. When that means one area in life has the nisayon in one way, and a different area in life is the nisayon in a different way. For example, Bitachon helps a person understand not to be worried, to be calm. Bitachon also has a person should not rely on themselves and rely on the Rebbeinu Shalom. But it's two separate nisayonis. One is from the right, one is from the left. So a person could be having in their own personal life areas where they need to work on not to be worried, and areas where they work on to chap that they shouldn't be so calm. They should chap that they need to come out to the Rebbeinu Shalom. So one of the yesodis in working on Bitachon is not to look at it as one big zach, do I have Bitachon? You should try to focus and look into yourself in different areas in your life. And another reason for that is that a person many times in one area it's easy for him to trust the Rebbeinu Shalom for various reasons. Why in that area it's easy. But then when it comes to a different area in a person's life, a person could be lacking Bitachon totally. And if a person looks at it as a whole, sometimes they wouldn't chap. They could look at it in a sense as in, of course I have Bitachon. In my place where I work, we stop everything and we remind all hours we have like a little, everybody has on their computer, on their screen, a posuk, and we only do things that are straightforward. But then, if you would try to focus on the person Shalom Bayis, Rachmana Litzlan, you would find out what's going on there. It's because in that area, it's harder for them, it's harder for them, and they have to work on that separately, and it's touching different parts of their nefesh. So that's why the Chovis Alvovus takes us on a stroll in Perek Daled, a person's life, a person's health, money, family, all areas, to try that a person should slowly focus on each one, and it's a lifetime. The work on Bitachon is not meant that it should be easy and it's a quick fix. It doesn't work like that. But if a person has that awareness, then they could work on themselves, because they start chapping what's going on, where they need to fix, where they need to elevate themselves. There's an area of Bitachon which Shlomo HaMelech mentions in Mishlei. Bitach el Hashem b'chol libecha, trust the Rebbeinu Shalom with your whole heart. Perek Gimel Pasuk Hey, ve'el binoscha al tishoen. El binoscha al tishoen means don't rely on your seichel, that you're smart, on your knowledge. Don't rely on it. The literal taich of this pasuk is helping a person be aware that people tend to trust themselves. They trust their decision making. They trust their way that they view the world. And they feel, what do you mean? I know what I'm talking about. Zog the Pasuk, Zog Shlomo HaMelech, which was Chacham Mikol Adam, the smartest person. You're supposed to rely on the Rebbeinu Shalom. Your mind could be tricking you into seeing things the wrong way, and you could never know. And being that you don't know, so you please daven atachoyim l'adam das. Please daven v'sakneinu be'etza toiva milfanecha. And a person should have that humbleness. That who says I'm right? Try to listen to others. The Pnei Menachem, the Ger Rebbe Zechron Levrocha, when he was Rosh Hashiva in Ger, before he was Rebbe, he would come into the room where the meetings with the staff members. He would say, I'm going to say something, but I'm begging, please contradict me. I want to see, fleg me up. That's what he used to say. That means, I enjoy the emes of Chochmah. I enjoy the Eivish's Chochmah. I could say what what I felt, but I would appreciate if someone would say the opposite. Why? Because I like this, I like the chokhmah much more than I like being right. And I want to hear a different opinion. It makes me alive to hear a different opinion, because I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. There's different ways of seeing that a person is relying on their own chokhmah. You could sometimes see when a person feels or says, you don't worry about it, I'll figure it out. It could sometimes be a complicated situation, and be'emes they feel that they're going to figure it out because they're be'emes smart. And someone that's smart has a beginning sign. It's like someone that has money. It's a beginning sign to rely on your money. Always it works like that. Because you feel you have it. You feel that in the past 10 years or the past 50 situations, I figured it out.
Sometimes people that write books.
Sure, people write books, and you could see them that each page they mention themselves like 4 times. When I was, Chochmah is a beautiful zach, but it's not yours. It's the Rebbeinu Shlem. So Shlomo Melech is teaching us the concept, and then we have to elaborate, we have to analyze it, we have to try to chap where we go wrong, and how could we try to fix it, and make it a little bit, refine this nekuda in a person's mind. One of the places where you see that a person is not relying on the Rebbeinu Shlem and the Chochmah that we didn't mention yet, was when you use your Chochmah for something that's not appropriate. You use your Seichel. It could sometimes be against somebody else. When a person does that, it's because they feel it's theirs. So if it's mine, I'm going to now use it the way I want to use it. If it's not mine, then another form of using it, and you see the person doesn't have bitachon and he relies on themselves, is when people tend to make decisions quickly and they don't feel the need to analyze it again and say, let's wait a day, let me discuss it with my Rav. I'm saying the initial feeling of ich weiß nicht.
These things have to wait till the
next
day.
Yeah, Bezin always, by Din and Nefashos, they had to wait till the next day. Now, of course, it's very important to mention some people have the problem the other way, from the OCD family, that they can never make a decision and they get stuck. But there's an answer for it. The answer is always in Bitachon, it's about having the balance, not to rely on yourself, but then comes the second part. Yes, to rely on the Rebbeinu Shlem and go further. It means if the Rebbeinu Shlem says, I want you to get married and have children, the Eibush says help, but I want you to try to do the mitzvah of Kiddushim, Perivya. So a person, how do I know if it's the right one? How do I know? The teretz is, most people, when it comes to that area, they're more tilted towards the way that I don't know, I want to make sure I'm making the right decision because they feel it's a life decision. But then is the part that if you had a simon or whatever it was, then go further, not because you're so convinced, it's because I'm relying on the Rebbeinu Shlem. So in there's always on the opening up a business or any decision, having children is an act of bitachon by far. It's poshet pshat, unless a person is really young and they don't chap. But once you chap, it's a real act of bitachon to have a child. The pshat azoi, a person starts chapping is not a game, not a game. But then they try to see, let me do what's right. If it's right, the Rebbeinu Shlem give me a mitzvah, I'm going to rely and I'm going to go further relying. So the Rebbeinu wants us, on the one hand, not to live in dimyan and not chap that you need the siyata d'shmaya. But once your heart starts pounding, then you run back to say the Rebbeinu Shlem, and you say, I have you and I'm going along with you. So it's bemis and avoida. But any other mahalach, if we don't try to work on this avoida, it's not the truth. Sometimes it's babyish, sometimes it's gaiva, sometimes it's both. They wish to put us in this world and gave us challenges and wants us to not rely on ourselves, and yes, to rely on the Rebbeinu Shalom and go further. And the same is true for the topic that's called my own seichel. My seichel, what my mind is telling me. That's my experience is telling me. Many times it also has to do with nurture. It's not only nature, it's the way I was brought up. And that's why I feel that this is right, or I should be doing this, I shouldn't be doing this. So a person is supposed to know that I'm supposed to be relying on the Rebbeinu Shalom. So let's try to understand it better and gain tools how to do it.
We ask Hashem to give us Bina.
Yeah.
And Shlomo says, Al Binasel Al Tishay.
We ask Hashem to give us that seichel, and then the Pasuk says, then Shlomo HaMelech says, but now don't rely on it. So again, what does that mean? So I shouldn't use it, so I should close my mind. I should, usually, if a person is dumb, then it's easier for them just to rely on somebody else, which is not much better, because Al Tiftuchu Ben Divim goes on that as well. It doesn't have to be only financial. But if a person be'emes has that experience and feels that, Baruch Hashem, I had to use it. So I am relying on it. I'm supposed to be relying on it. So what does that mean? You're mentioning that question. We ask for that, and then they're able to expect us, after davening, to put away that siddur and go and do what I feel is right. I'm not supposed to be doing what I feel is right. Am I supposed to be asking every decision that I'm making 5 people? So the concept of it is understanding that the machshava which is going through my head is not mine. It doesn't belong to me. Imagine in monetary issues, and when a person has dilemmas, there, people that learn Sha'ar Bitachon or even try to be good in tzedakah could sometimes develop a little bit of this concept. The money is not mine. I'm trying to distribute it in the way that's best. I know that it's hard to get it exact, but I'm trying. Certain obligations that I have. And I want to be a nice guy. Maybe I'm supposed to be putting away to marry off children. I'm trying to distribute it in a way that Hashem would be happy with what I'm doing with the money. If I feel that it's mine, I'm giving attitude towards people. Aleph, the attitude. I'm not saying about attitude because it's mine. What do you mean I work for it? I'm not giving you. Or I'm spending it in. Everybody understands. Why are you doing the money? Is very. You could do a lot of good things with money. The Gemara says because they worked hard for it. You could do beautiful zachen. Then you have the chinuch of your children, and you don't want to. They should feel deprived. This nekuda, we could sometimes see people that are serious people, and they want to do the right zach. What is exactly right and wrong? What's the punktliche hagdor from necessity? And chanami. But the concept that it's not mine, I have to be achrayizdik. I have to think what I'm doing. That a lot of people have that feeling. Baruch Hashem, it's be'emes beautiful. Be'emes beautiful. So now, let's understand that it's always achas with machshava, with the concept of thinking. If I could get to the place that I could feel that the machshavas that are in my mind, the chiddush that I have, the decision that I'm leaning towards making that decision, Hashem is actually pouring that in constantly. Hashem is putting it in. Then I'm going on the right direction. Now, of course, it's much harder to do that with the mind than with money, because the money is external, and this is me. Is be'emes. So we need to learn the art, how we do it. But it's zicha that it's harder, because that's what I'm thinking. So let's look at the chushim that the Rebbeinu Shalom gave us, the senses. Every morning we say Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Pekech Ivrim. We thank Hashem again for the eyesight. We realize that it's not mine, and I'm appreciating it that I got it back, and I could do beautiful zachen, And then a person has the ability to close their eyes, because if they got excited by Pekei Chivrim, let's say they heard a shir, or they're learning a sefer, or they have a family member which is not so poshet, the eyesight, or they themselves had issues, and the emes now in a good uplifted matzav around the kuda I could see, and I'm thanking the Rebbeinu Shem, and I'm realizing it. Afterwards, the person is going to watch out. He's going to think, I want to use it for gute Sachen. I don't want to abuse it because I'm so thankful to the Rebbeinu Shem that he gave me this matana, and it's now it's his. It can fly away. So the first step, when we talk about the machshava of a person, is a person's thinking, let me try to use my mind for gute Sachen. Thinking positive about people, Ahavas Yisrael type of machshavas. Thinking positive about the people around me when they irritate me. And I'm thinking, like, this person's just never going to get it. Those kind of machshavas that go through the mind. If you could remind yourself after you fell, that, hey, why do I have to use this for negativity? B'chlal for negativity. Let me use it to realize such beautiful Sachen. It's such a beautiful world. Then you're going on the path of realizing that it's a hefze, it's something that's bad, external from me. And let me try to remind myself when I realize that I'm using it in a wrong way, or any type of negative way, let me shift and say, why am I using it that way? It's chaval. Let me use that the right way. Person has a car, and they found themselves driving to places they shouldn't be driving, or wasting time, whatever. Then you know something? Let me make a day of chizik and use it the right way. Go to shul, give people a hitch. Look at your machshava that way. That's the first step in El Binoscha Al Tishayin. Because you're realizing whose it is. And it's going to come along with it. What's going to happen is that when a person is going that way, then they're going to find themselves that their job more humble. Again, what the tool that we just said is a simple one, it's a black and white one. You're using it, try to chap that you're using it and do it in the right direction.
You're just saying, I think my dad gave me things.
Yeah. I'm using somebody's house.
Yeah.
When I'm using somebody's house, I would try not to abuse it. I want to give it back. So really, the whole person is like that. But also, this part of the person, you have to chap whose it is, and that could bring the person to be more humble about it, and not brag, and not definitely not misuse it, but not to be so sure that you're right, because it's the Rebbeinu Shem's das. Second step is realizing the vulnerability in the mind of a person. That means when a person chaps that it's not like I have it. Things come and go. For be'emes. Not many people chap that the zelbe zach is with the seichel. They don't want to chap. A person gets older and they're exposed to it. Maybe they have a stronger awareness. But it's avodas Hashem, simple avodas Hashem, to live in that reality, to chap, that it doesn't only go away if it's, we ask the Rebbeinu Shalom, but even when a person is young and geschmack and smart and lebedik, 1 second that a person didn't have what they're doing could cost them years of agmas nefesh. We all know that. We all are exposed to it. Ad kedei kach, we're exposed to it. So reminding ourselves that it's something that is not lav dafka that I have it. It helps you to try to not misuse it, and remember that it's not just a poshet. That includes that when we daven, we're be'etzem saying that the seichel that I have right now has the ability to grow. Not only because I'm growing older, just because the Rebbeinu Shalom could pour in more. our minds are as a keli that it could have so much more knowledge, deeper knowledge. We could comprehend Sachen deeper, and it's in the Eibish's hands. It could be the difference between Sunday and Monday, but the same person could be drastic to the good way. To the good way. So Ibazoi, it's a new world. Versus if a person in his mind is like, it is what it is, this is who I am, this is my way of thinking. They never connect that this is something that you could expand. And the Eibishter could make crazy things happen. Not only that you're going to become a genius, people look at it like, he opened up the Gemara, and he went up to the Weibishul, and he was crying to Hashem, and all of a sudden he knew Kol HaTorah Kula. It's much more important that you should chap what's going on around you. And you should have a little bit of better understanding, more mature understanding, and to relate to it more mature. That's such a matona. It's a huge matona. The Eibishter can give it. But the Eibishter wants us to chap that it's an open communication. It's an ishmuchach. You could lose it, you could get more.
A lot of great inventions, the people invented them, but they didn't realize what it would be good for. They opened their eyes. The one who made the sticky notes, you can put on.
Yeah.
He made a glue. Says glue's no good. It doesn't stick good. You pull it right off. Then suddenly, eventually, said, "Oh, you can make
fascinating." Fascinating. Every kleine rayan and chiddush could be used in an amazing way, but they just to open up your eyes. And it's very negeya. It's negeya day to day. So a person should, by davening, is a time that a person could chap it, because so many times by Birchas HaTorah, by Ahava Rabbah, by Atachoinen, by Elekai Netzor, by Hu Yushtach Libenu B'Seirosoi, any capital of Tehillim, capital Kuf Yotes is for sure a hub for the psukim about this topic. It helps us chap, and then a person could be zoiche to understand amazing ideas in Torah, and B'chlal Chochmah, which is negei him, could help him day to day, because the Eibishter is going to give it to him. It's something that it stays ruchni yazdik. Eyesight is some kind of limited. This is how it works. The Chochmah has a murder matona, that it's open-ended. It's open-ended. Eibishter could really give him more Chochmah. The Chazal sagen uns, v'hoyam shamayat yishmu, yoy Chochmah lachakimen. The Eibishter likes to give Chochmah to people that are using the Chochmah, that are appreciating the Chochmah. So what the Eibishter does is he pours in more, because Chochmah is a keli for Chochmah. So if that's the case, so how do I get more Chochmah? By chapping and using the Chochmah that is not mine, and it's vulnerable, so it's not fixed. It's bechal not fixed. So that helps on a gewaltige Öfen to relate it to the Rebbeinu Shalom, and not to yourself, and not to rely on it. And then a person could be be'emes, be zechet, to have mayones of Chochmah should open up, fountains of Chochmah. Someone made me aware of a Ralbag. Ralbag is on when this in Nach, there's Rashi, there's Metzudas David, many Nach have Ralbag on the bottom. They're here on Mishlei. On this pasuk, Bitachon Hashem b'chol libecha v'binoscha al tishoen, so the Ralbag elaborates, and he says a murdige hoisofa, in addition to this. He says, every time you chap something, you should be thanking the Rebbeinu. You should realize it's not I chapped it. The Eibishter gave me this hasoga. The Rebbeinu put it into my mind. And don't think about it that you are the one that understood it. And don't be so sure that you're going to understand it, b'li sofek. And then he says like this. Because by doing that, by being so sure about yourself and about your chokhmah, you're taking away the Rebbeinu Shalom's ezer, the help of the Rebbeinu Shalom, and then you're going to be losing your chokhmah. So now, we'll get back to this Ralbag, but it's important to learn this musig, this concept, because the Chovos HaLevavos mentions it right in the beginning in the Haggadah. Anytime you rely on something that's not Rebbeinu Shalom, so you automatically lose the siyata d'shmaya that you had. It's like saying a person is in the middle, and he had a certain amount of siyata d'shmaya. So if he moves toward relying on Hashem, he's connecting to Hashem, and then all of a sudden, he's getting more abundance. If if he's relying on somebody else, right then and there, that is the reason to lose even the siyata d'shmaya that you did have. Because you're totally disconnecting. Relying on someone is connecting to him and taking your chiyas and taking your shefa from that place. If it's Rebbeinu Shalom, then you're getting now new connection, new shefa, new abundance, which is going to mean money, understanding, hatzlocha, whatever it is. If you're relying on anybody else, automatically you're disconnecting from Hashem, and then the shefa that you're getting from that person is coming from the wrong place. It messes you up. The Ralbag adds to that a fascinating addition in Avona. He says like this: when the Rebbeinu Shalom created Toiv, any type of goodness that you could have, comfort, chokhmah, health, anything, a house, the Toiv that the Eibishter created was with the tachlis that you're going to tap into this Toiv, you're going to feel it, you're going to enjoy it, and then you're going to feel, hey, that's amazing, who gave me this? And that's going to connect you to the Rebbeinu Shalom. And the Rebbeinu Shalom wants you to connect to him because that's the Makor of Toiv, and that's the best experience that a person could have in this world, and that's the biggest tachlis, the biggest kirvus elikim li Toiv. So the Rebbeinu Shalom lets you have an apple and gives you breakfast, and then Chazal want to help you get to the right place, so they make you make a bracha beforehand. Birchas Hamazon is the reise, and then you could chap. Thank you, Rebbeinu Shalom, and you're in a spol. A person gets excited. He's happy. Wow. So what happens is the Toiv helped me remember from Hashem, and then it worked. The Rebbeinu Shalom's plan worked. What happens if a person enjoys the Toiv, digs in to his plate, and is very excited, and tells that person that prepared him this piece of meat, did anybody tell you that you know how to grill this meat? You're amazing. You should go into this line. And he's busy talking this way, the other way, Miriam, Ahin, he can't get brachas. Mai says, yeah, officially he made a bracha before and afterwards. Hey, what's going on? Zog der Albag, that if a person touches Toiv, enjoys Toiv, and doesn't chapetz on the Rebbeinu Shalom, then Hashem is going to take that Toiv away, because it's in the way. If we would try to say it in a little bit humorous, the Eibusha tells them, Allah, I'm not taking it away from there. I thought it's going to stand in my direction. You're just making him go further away. So it's not bringing him to his tachlis. So it's better if he doesn't have it. Zog der Albag, that that's it. Rotzen Hashem Yizborach, sheyakiru ha'anoshim. The Eibusha's rotzen is that people should realize the people that are mushgach mimenu, they should chap the Toiv. If someone's nishan albinos means you're relying on your own seichel. He's quoting the pasuk of binoscha al tishoin. If you are going to do that, then you're saying that you don't need Hashem's help. So then the seichel is taking you the wrong way. And the seichel is taking you the wrong way, it's a reason for that seichel to run away. Zok der Albag, the way to get that shefa constantly is by using your mind, use your seichel to see the toiv from the Rebbeinu Shalom and anything that's around you, which is the choyves of Shahar Bechina talk. Enjoy it. So you see the Rebbeinu Shalom, it should be warm. The Rebbeinu Shalom helped us that this should work out. And then what's happening is that you're making that toiv should continue. You're helping it continue because that toiv is sending you right to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Every time you see toiv, you have a better understanding. Ashrei, toiv Hashem lakoil. Tzomach Hashem l'chol hanoiflim. Amazing. I saw the Rebbeinu Shalom now. The Chovis Avos and Sha'ar B'china explains that the deep title of Einei Choil Elecho Yesaberu V'ato Nois and Lemes Ochlam Beitoi means that all nivroim, everything that was created, is getting their shefa from the same place. To one creature, it's that type of food. Then it's this dog food, this meat, this to be able to breathe, this aver, oxygen. But they're all coming from the Rebbeinu Shalom. Atan Oislam means that they nishtal means they get restricted as down to the Olam HaAsiyah, and then each one gets something else. But you're supposed to be realizing that all of them are really coming from the same place. It's just it's being distributed differently, lefi what this nivra wants. So you're supposed to look at all of them are reaching out to the Rebbeinu Shalom, are looking at Rebbeinu Shalom, give me food. Before the word be'ita. This one needs this one needs that. But all the ochlams must be a chol chai rotzen. It's really coming from above. When you do that, and the toiv is a reason to chap das adar Rebbeinu Shalom, then the Eibishter goes and gives you more and more of that. Zog the Ralbag. The same is with the seichel itself. Not only using the seichel to chap the toiv that there are in external zaken, but if you see the Rebbeinu Shalom gave me seichel, and the seichel is Hashem's, and it could be used for such gewaltige Sachen. Hashem put into my mind this concept. Hashem made me have a sofik, so I should chap that I have to daven, so I should realize that I have to be very careful, that I should look the pros and cons. Maybe I should ask Eilach. If you thank the Rebbeinu Shalom the seichel, and you realize the seichel is the end, and you realize the toiv that there is in seichel, the biggest toiv that a person got was the seichel. It's the biggest, because a person doesn't have seichel, not simple. And you thank, and you realize, sagt das the pshat, one pasuk later in Mishlei, is b'chol derochecha de'eyu v'hu yeyasher ochesecha. It's the hemshech. It means if you're going to do'eyu is lashon das, and and he gives examples. He says you're gonna use your mind. Hashem gave me a tool to see the toiv all over. The seichel is not stam that I have seichel. That's the zach that lets me chap the toiv, and that's connecting me to the Rebbeinu Shalom, and that's letting me have all the toiv. So my biggest thank for the Rebbeinu Shalom is for that tool. So in every area in life, I'm going to try to use my seichel to be able to chap the good zach and the Eibishter gives me. Then everything is going to work out. Because you're going to be creating that here the shefa. You're making all those situations be a reason for shefa, which is amazing. So you saw this of Bitachon this. So this also helps us in the areas that we feel chisoron, or lack, we're missing something. A person has yisurim. So we try to work with we try to steig to be makabel yisurim b'ahava. We have ups, we have downs. We try. One of the mahalchim is to thank the Rebbeinu Shalom, and in the avodah you have the little alleyway of thanking for the toiv in that matziv. Look how many things went well. A person's in the hospital. Look, there was an organization that won me warm food. Look, we Baruch Hashem had a nest. We got a good doctor. Look, the room, there's nobody. The violet, there's nobody else in the other bed. All these little details. Realize, thank. Many times, a person that's a little bit smarter could have a machshava run by that it's like a coping mechanism to keep yourself going. Look around, and instead of the situation itself, which is bad, psychological bandage, perfect, good gesagt. It's a disaster. Let's not kid ourselves, okay? It is what it is. Above us. But look at the light bulb, it's so nice. We do it with children. We try to distract them. Zogt aber the Ralbag, if you start realizing, the Pshat says, wherever you are, no matter what, you could be in a dungeon, that's Toch Yosef, you're in a Ish Matzliach, wherever you are, there's tons of toiv right there, that's klar. If any pinky is working, if the one eye is still seeing, there's a lot of toiv. A ton of toiv around you. Now, you have your seichel. Your seichel, the bottom line is, that's the place where you have the key if you should be in pain or not. Because if a person could try, the Eibish's hilf, if the Eibish helps and a person could try to change their mind, this way of thinking, the train of thought, then people open up their eyes. So a person is thinking, how do I bring that to my seichel? The seichel that I have right now is used to thinking one way, but the bigger issue, people, anytime you have a person in therapy, the bigger issue, be'emes al pi Torah, is not that they're so stuck in their way of thinking. The bigger issue is something earlier than that we don't have, that it's not our machshavas. And if we would put Hashem in the whole way of, it's not mine, then it's much easier to switch. It's emes. Changing a habit and changing a way of thinking it's very deep. It takes work. But when a person is convinced that they're right, a person is like, what do you mean? Because I said. Because sometimes in a shalom bayis, because my father used to do it this way, so this is the way it should be done. You're not doing it the right way. This ganze mahalach is based that a person is stuck in my machshava. If a person is maskim to start using this machshava that is not mine, it's mine. One of the easier way of doing that is talking about the light bulb. Starts with something that is possible. And it's true. Use it for what it was meant to be used. The seichel is fascinating with the koyach HaMachshava. Use it for what it was meant to realize tov, to be makir, chochmas abriya. That was the tachlis, what the mind was. Now, if you're going to do that, even if you're not going to touch the sensitive places, which is a shtickle complicated, but what you're going to do is you're going to bring the Rebbeinu Shalom into your mind, with a mahalach which is doable. It's be'emes doable. And what's going to happen is that you're softening. You're pouring shemen. You're softening your mind. Then a person says Atachon latem das, and they mean it a little bit more. Then a person says, because ich getracht till now, because that was my way of thinking, maybe I was wrong. Adarabah, I want to listen. I'm not so sure that I'm right. Ooh, this is choyre. And that helps a person look at things differently. And that take away gewalt pain. Because it brings the Rebbeinu Shalom in there, and the Rebbeinu Shalom could pour in anything. A person needs a nest. So deeper in there, darf sein, this gewaltige koyach. As a footnote, or maybe belongs on the top, it would be very helpful if the therapist remembers that his machshava was also the Eibishter's. No, I don't mean the chepesh boy. I mean the concept. That means if you're working with a client and you're trying to change his way of thinking. Now, unless you don't want him really to be helped, because then you're going to be losing $250 a week. If you want it to work, what you're trying to do is to give him the ability to get Hashem in there and have it straight, not so tangled up. That's not easy. All of us. Not easy. This area, that area. It's beautiful. That's how it is, Hashem. We're here to fix. We're all here to fix. As long as we're alive, we're all here to fix. It's a beautiful Avodas Hashem. But by being so, a person is allowed to be confident that this is right and this is wrong because of their experience. But the tefillah beforehand, the Shashat, the Shmaya, understanding is not me. Understanding is always, could be, I also make mistakes. And I'm not like the smartest person, but we're both trying to connect to the Eibishter's Chochmah. Then it gets easier. And that's really the secret of being able to get out of pain. What's the secret? The secret is that he's understanding that be'emes the pain is the way I'm perceiving this matzav. Because in so many areas you could see that the same exact matzav is causing for one person pain, another person is thrilled to pieces. It's ma'aseh b'chol yom mamash. B'chol yom mamash. I mean, even if you have two parents, the way a child dresses, one is telling the child, don't be so yakish. You're ruining it for shidducha. Stop doing these crazy things. Get yourself a normal pair of glasses. And you could have, then you have the other parent that feels that his kid is going off the day. Because this pair of glasses, the yeshiva said that rimless, gave A's. It's the way the mind of the person is thinking if they're having pain or not.
One parent blames themselves, and the other one doesn't blame themselves.
You have the same matzav. One parent is blaming themselves, and be'emes eating themselves up. Mamash, people get sick. Be'emes sick. It could cause. Mamash, the other parent is saying, "I'm clear about it. I say the Eibishter gefiert, and even if we made mistakes, and yes, we did make mistakes, but this is part of Hashem's plan. There isn't anybody that doesn't make mistakes." It's in his door. This b'chlalat kayam that mitzias not to make mistakes. Yes, we fix, but if we look at the past, the Eibishter wanted us not to have this piece of information. So push it. There's no other way to understand the Bria. Hashem couldn't have given us the knowledge that the person himself is going to have in a few years from now. Not the Chochmah Malachim. Hashem wants us to learn from mistakes. Then, if you chap that it goes that way, then a person is saying, let me bring Hashem in there. Let me chap that it's something Hashem could help me. Let me rethink. Let me be open. Let me not be so stubborn. So let me masakim say. We started this year that there's different areas where a person is supposed to look bitachon, and even if a person mentions bitachon and does things the right way because of bitachon, it totally doesn't mean that it's in all areas of his life, because every area touches you in a different way and is an isoy in a different way. Then we mentioned that one of those areas is the etzem mindset of a person. The chokhmah that a person has, Zok Shlomo HaMelech, you're supposed to be relying on the Eibishter. Don't rely that you're so smart. Don't rely that you're so right. Don't be so convinced that you can figure it out. What's the first step to be able to work on yourself is chapping that it's keilu, it's external, and try to not misuse it. Try to think, I want to use it for positive. I want to use it to help others, not the opposite. In business, sometimes people could think that it's a chokhmah to outdo the other and to do. I'm using my mind to gamv of others. Even if maybe I found a particular rov that made with the, I don't want to use my mind to figure out how to be oiba chocham, and I don't want to misuse it. That was step number one. Step number two was this Ralbag, that a person should chap that any toiv Hashem gave me is because it's supposed to be leading me to feel Hashem. So when I see my mind, it's a toiv that Eibishter gave me. So I want to thank Hashem and chap that it's His. I want to be able to see Hashem through my mind. Now, in a practical way, if you're going to start using your mind to see toiv, any type of toiv, you're making your mind a keli to be able to think differently, to be able to see toiv in areas which is not so geschmack. And that is the secret to be able to be makabel yisurim, because you're really asking Hashem to help me to receive it the right way, which means a mindset, which means helping me get the right machshavas. And the more I chap that, the more I'm able to be a better person. But the way to get there is to try to feed the mind toiv. The mind should be working on realizing that this is from the Rebbeinu Shalom. This is from the fact that I could be thinking it's from the Rebbeinu Shalom. And that helps bringing Hashem in there and helps us heal. Good. Avodas Chaim.